My name is Stephen Graham, founder and director of EP Productions. The aim of EP is to give back to others. My aim is to give back to others. That same belief of self-love. As well as being a documentary filmmaker, I'm also a journalist, poet, and an author of 5 books, all which were self-published by EP. 3 of the books are poem books, 1 a romance novel, and the other is about street violence in London. Well, actually gun crime in London. The book's actually titled I'm a Gun, as the gun is actually the lead character of the book. It's metaphorically written with the intention to enlighten our youth, awaken the people to the dangers of gun crime, and how the gun can have an impact on an individual physiologically and psychologically. The emotional takeover that guns have once we place them in our hand. I also thought it was important that I gave a visual aspect of what the book's about. Hence, I ended up making a documentary based around the book. I'm Stephen Graham, author of the book I'm a Gun. This book was written to highlight the psychological hold guns have over our youths. Inspired by the book, I felt compelled to make this documentary. This documentary analyzes and scrutinizes gun crime, highlights the importance of black history, reflects on the hold that the streets have on our youths, and explores how miseducation is affecting our people. Here's a sneak preview of what to expect. It was fun making it, and it was fun and enjoyable in the sense of it was uplifting, because the people with whom I was working with, they gave their character and their spirit into this documentary to make it alive, to bring a sense of warmth to such a troubled situation.
Brethren Jaja So said to me once, and it stuck with me. He said, when I was 15, I believed if I didn't go to jail, I wasn't a real black boy. And can you imagine that? A guy's grown up in a society and he thinks that his identity as a young black male, if he doesn't go to prison, he's not fulfilling. And what does that do to you when you think being a young black man is about going to prison?
When I was young growing up, I couldn't wait. I was like, yo, I'm going to prison straight. I'm being young. I just thought, I can go to school, I'm going to rob loads of people, I'm definitely going to go to prison, without a doubt. I knew I was going to prison. It just was about like when.
You might be in control of your action, but it's your mind state that's going to determine that action, if you know what I mean. And are you in control of your mind state?
It gives a very real to life reality of what the dangers and disasters that await those in that kind of criminal world.
They're literally sitting there with their head in their hands, wondering what happened.
But these people are fighting over postcodes, and they don't own nothing in the postcode. They don't own the house they live in. I mean, they're renting. So what happens when they move? So at the moment you're fighting for Hackney because you're living in like an E. So what happens when you move to West London? What, you change the postcode you fight for? Dumb. Stupid, man.
I see another group of black youths, I've got a problem with them, not for any particular reason. They might be from Hackney, I might be from Tottenham, they might be from Stonebridge, I might be from Church Road, and we're fighting over pieces of real estate that we don't even own.
Northeast Africa, the hidden truth, it's actually was made to unveil what's been hidden. The fact that what we classify as Israel, Palestine, the Holy Land, is actually a part of Africa. And the documentary actually does that. It actually proves that this is Africa.
We've done a great job in being able to demonstrate that this is Northeast Africa. And once we begin to look at it as such, and we stop believing this idea of Israel being a part of the Middle East.
Go over here, and I'm going to show you where Israel sits on the African tectonic plate, which means that Israel is Northeast Africa.
What do you mean Middle East? Is there an Upper East, a Lower East? What do you mean Middle East?
For most of the blacks, they have a confusion about Israel. This is your home. This is your land.
There's tons of evidence, which is as well as land titles, to back the facts that this is Africa, and what we've been taught about ancient Israel, I mean, when I say ancient Israel, I mean ancient Israelites, the actual people, the children of Israel. And we've been taught about being, you know, Arab and everything, and the whole Arabic culture, you know, a lot of it is embedded there in the land still.
I just watch the TV one time, I see a movie through the TV. I see this is Zayd al-Halal. I see they put it in the TV, he's white. But everybody know, even the white, they know this is Zayd al-Halal, he's a black.
If you take the map of the old city, you never find the African quarter. You will find Christian quarter, Armenian, Jewish, Muslim quarter, but never the African quarter.
National TV about Palestinian suffering. You ever see a black brother?
No.
But we suffer the same.
People from our people. They regard Jesus to be black, Moses, Muhammad, Abraham.
Me being drawn to that region is really through ancestral connections. My mother's father, who named my mum Juanita Bathsheba Samuel, was a proud, proud Jewish, as they say, they would classify as Jewish today. His heritage, he always says, our ancestors came from that region. So, not seeing and not hearing much about, black people in that region, African descendants, I felt compelled that, I wanted to go there and visit and, try to make connection with the people in that region. Wadi Anam is actually based on one of the unrecognized villages, according to the State of Israel. I felt compelled to make this documentary because my insight to what's actually going on with the State of Israel and the Bedouin population, I felt there was a sense of unjustness that individuals were being forced to leave their land, and I think it was something that needs to be known. And being a journalist, I mean, you don't hear things and not want to, get more insight into it.
Years we fight to get the water, and until now we do not get enough water for the families.
How long has the Bedouins in Wadi Anam, how long have you been out here?
Since ever.
What I done, I went to Israel and I met up with Sheikh Yusuf and Brother Najid, and who are also from the Azazma tribe, and I did a documentary with them, asking them to share their story of what's going on in Wadi Anam and other unrecognized villages.
Water must be given for everyone.
لأنه مصدر الحياة.
He is the source of the life.
يعني لا توجد حياة بتصير حروب بين الدول على المية.
War can be happen between countries.
The Jerusalem conflict, the Ali Jeddah story, is actually a documentary spoken by Ali Jeddah, told by Ali Jeddah about the current affairs that's going on in Jerusalem today, between the Arabs and the Jews.
First of all, I would like to say to you, welcome in the old city of Jerusalem. I hope next time you come here, you will be in the capital of the independent Palestinian state.
So there's an understanding of why the importance of Jerusalem, but then there's a misunderstanding, in my eyes, why there's such a fight over this place, and that's what I wanted to get to the bottom of. Why is there this fight between Muslims and Jews?
Before having the wall, we used to have about 120,000, 140,000 daily workers in the Israeli side. All measures, Israeli measures, are illegal. If you take the international law, it's really illegal. After the wall, no more, they don't work anymore. So the main supporter of the family are the females. This gives an idea about the importance of the role of the woman in the Palestinian society.
Ajay is a very interesting individual. His life is a very interesting life. He was once a very strong activist in Israel. A very strong character, as a Palestinian man in what is today known as Israel, and intelligent and outspoken individual. You know, a man of great knowledge and understanding. His ability to, you know, share information, what I was fascinated by the way he spoke, and he told both sides. He didn't just speak of from the Arabic side of, you know, what they feel. He also spoke what Israelis feel, and gave a few accounts of, you know, Israeli pains and sorrows within the old city as well. And I thought that was really important. You know, he gave a very clear and strong understanding from both sides.
This is the main entrance to the Wailing Wall. You see the man coming now, just now? He's a Palestinian. This old man.
Right, coming through the Jewish quarter.
If he is allowed to pass the yard of the Wailing Wall, in seconds he will reach to his place. Jews can go, can go. But for us to pass the yard of the Wailing Wall, it's impossible. So sometimes you will be in the Jewish quarter, you will see old women, old men, young Palestinians passing from the Jewish quarter because they are not allowed to pass the yard of the Wailing Wall. They have to make all the way along.
Ancient Palestine, The Secrets of the Desert, is a documentary filmed in the desert with the leader of the Tel Abyad tribe, which is one of the most famous tribes in the Holy Land. I filmed that documentary with Sheikh Aid.
There's two tribes here was. The Tarabini tribe from this side, and for up there, this Azazma tribe. My father was here, my grandfather was here, my mother was, when she was young, she was here.
The documentary really gives an insight to the African presence in the Holy Land, and actually it's an eye-opener, because I mean, many people hear about the war between Israel, Egypt, the war that was in 1948, the Battle of Al-Jua, but many people don't realize that that war was fought on land that actually belonged to and who was inhabited by African people. You know, one of whom was Azazma tribe and the other is Tel Abyad tribe, which is Sheikh's family.
And all the army was here. The Turkish army, the Israeli army then, the Egyptians, they was on that side.
Such a significant war in that time, 1948, when Israel became a state. You know, many people don't, it's not known that, you know, hundreds of thousands of Africans had to run and leave and take refuge in Jordan and various other places in Egypt and that, just because of this war. And, you know, it's never really been told, that side of the story of this, you know, of the establishment of the State of Israel.
This place call it Bir Malaka. Malaki Bir. All the Bedouin in this area, there's many of them. They don't have no water in this area. This one they have the water. The water is coming from the ground. They can't finish. Son of my grandfather is here for a long time, for maybe 500 or 600 years. It's very important for every person or every community, you know, to belong to the land.
The documentary does that. It kind of gives us an understanding of, you know, the life of a Bedouin, you know, what the Bedouins faced, you know, and, you know, the troubles that they went through, and it shows, you know, the desolate lands that they have, you know. And the interesting fact that it also gives is the way they still have their land titles for their lands, but at the same time, having land titles, they're not allowed to control their land.
Today, the Israeli, they come here, we want to give you money to save my grandfather.
يرتلوا يشربون من بئر الملاذ.
If I sell you this land here, I tell them, I sell my grandfather, I sell my blood, I sell my remember, I sell who I am.
EP's latest book we're working on is actually called Incarceration JA. It's based on, it's an autobiography based on my life. Actually, hence Incarceration JA, because I spent quite a significant amount of years being incarcerated abroad in Jamaica. It gives a highlight into, you know, the things I got up to as a youth, and, you know, it really gives a journey which has a true, I believe, a really positive outcome. That it shows, you know, you could, an individual can change their life and literally turn their whole life around, you know, 360 degrees, you know, coming from one aspect of and one way of thinking to a total different aspect of life and a total different way of thinking. And the book, you know, it journeys through my life as a youth growing up in London, the things I used to get up to and the things I used to do in London as a youth, you know, my life in Jamaica as well, and to who I am today, you know, to how I see life, and, you know, the things I'm doing right now, likewise talking to youth and educating youth, going to schools, and, you know, as a mentor. That's actually, you know, what I want to show people, that, you know, you can make something out of yourself despite whatever happens. You know, you can pick yourself up and you can do something with yourself, and that's really what I'm about and what EP is about. It's about, you know, bringing a sense of pride in the community, giving some love, self-worth.